Hello and welcome to Temporary Australians. I'm Jonesy.
And I'm Hursty.
And this is Mike. This is what we have coming up on the show.
We check out last year's Sydney Motorcycle Show after a surprise move to Darling Harbour and see why huge crowds turned up. Jonesy catches up with our very own Californian Highway Patrol officer. Canberra Hog takes us for a ride round the nation's capital. We take time to remember our fallen mates and find out why Animal was less than impressed with the ride. Johan fills us in on Austrikes, wheelchairs and riding to the Alice. Rob Smith raises the issue of lane filtering, and we find out why Angry Anderson is a real deal. Well, here we are at the Sydney Motorcycle Show. It's a great place. If you're looking for a new motorcycle, they're all here. Harley, Ducati, Yamaha, Honda, Suzuki, BMW, just about everything.
It's about passion. I've been passionate when I started the shows back in 2001. And, you know, it's like a big family. I guess the industry, a lot of people know each other, and it's been great to see the shows grow. And it's been great to see, like, you know, you look around this show and just see how much it's actually, you know, the quality of the stands, the quality of the exhibitors. Everyone's got a bit more of understanding how to deal with the public direct, face to face. And also they understand how important it is that the people are coming through the doors want to speak to the expert, whether it's about a bike, a scooter or a product.
Adam, look, I'm just amazed how many people have turned up for the show today.
Absolutely fantastic, isn't it, Greg? I haven't seen a crowd this big at the Sydney Motorcycle Expo for a few years, actually. So, yeah, very impressed with the crowd. Obviously, you know, families have come out. Just lots and lots of people here today, which is really great for motorcycling.
Are you noticing young people coming more and more to Harley-Davidson?
Yeah, absolutely. I think having products that are relevant certainly help. Some of the initiatives that we're putting in place to, you know, target some of the younger audience is important to not only us, but probably every company in the world out there with X and Y gen guys, how to get those people onto your brand at the end of the day.
It's been huge, and the thing I like about it is that we're getting a really good variety of people through the place. There are families, there are groups of young guys and girls, although we still need more girls in the game.
Because we're the new kid on the block, a lot of people don't know our name. A lot of people come up and say, oh, you're made in China? Well, I throw them off the stand straight away because obviously we're an American-built product. But we've seen a lot of people come that haven't been aware of the product, haven't been aware of the brand, so we're still in that sort of brand development phase here in Australia. Although we've been around in the States for 13 years, we've only been in Australia for the last 3, and we're only in Sydney for the last 12 months.
We love the bikes, obviously, but we're surprised at the amount of crowd response that we get every time, and flattered, you know what I mean? But these bikes are hit a market, you know. They're the sort of thing that we would have loved to ride when we were kids, Greg, you know.
Well, they're custom-level entry bikes is effectively what they are, aren't they?
Wow, they're a production bike, but they look like a custom bike, and that's what the kids want.
People come up and have a look at some of the things that are here. They find out that we're Christians. They find that that's a bit unique, a little bit interesting. So sometimes they want to talk about that. Sometimes we just talk bike stuff. Yeah, it's really just being part of what's going on here today.
And Jonesy came along to explain how Temporary Australians got its name.
With the name Temporary Australians, it's a great way of having a laugh at ourselves a little bit and not taking it so seriously. And I like to think that that's what this show is about.
Any other comment before we look at them, Mark?
Is there such as a thing as wet weather gear that doesn't leak in the crutch, for example? Is there?
That's an important question, yes.
Because these pants, Greg, do you want to feel my crutch? It's dry today.
No, thank you.
We can perform in any size area. Basically, we do shows in main arenas, in country shows. We can also come here indoors in the arena at the Motorcycle Expo and perform in front of crowds only metres away.
So do you think this has been a good change of venue?
Absolutely. We ran into limitations out at the Sydney Showgrounds a week before the V8 Supercars. A lot of roads were closed, and this weekend they were actually going to have a big dance party that was actually going to block off 3 sides of our venue, which wasn't suitable for obviously the exhibitors setting up, but also the visitors. That's the main thing. Would have been a nightmare to get from the car park just to the actual venue itself. The Sydney Convention Exhibition Centre has been great to us. They wanted us back, and we're great to be back. And I think looking at the results, everyone seems to be happy that it's back at the Sydney Convention Exhibition Centre.
When I was young, I dreamed of being part of the California Highway Patrol, known as the acronym CHIPS. And I always dreamed about it. I don't know if I was a John guy or a Ponch guy, but perhaps we ask this man, because he's well qualified, because he not just dreamed about it, he is it. Steve, how are you?
Well, good, mate, good.
I was going to wear the same thing, but I didn't want to clash, so it's a good thing.
No, you hate to do that. I got to tell you, I'm actually a John guy, not a Ponch guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, Ponch sort of, he's a bit too flamboyant.
He was a little bit too flamboyant. I'm a quieter kind of guy.
You're a quieter chief.
Much like yourself.
So this, when I first met you, you had one of these bikes.
Yes.
Now you have 4.
Yeah, I actually had 5, but I could only get 4 of them here today, but yeah.
Well, that must be a hell of a thing riding them. What, you're like one of those Roman chariots.
So you got a very big legs, yes.
And so, how did you come up with this idea?
Well, I work as a press photographer and have done for most of my career, for 25 years. And I was in the office one day reading a story about Katie Lang arriving in the country, and she was late for the Rove show. And there happened to be a cop on a motorbike nearby, and he escorted her to the television studio. Then they got on air and they talked about it. Well, long story short, this cop nearly got sacked over this because, and I found out that most police forces in Australia don't do a police motorcycle escort for anyone but heads of state or foreign dignitaries, and so people, punters, couldn't hire a do user pay for a police motorcycle escort, so I decided to invent one.
But can you just do that? So if someone books you to do this, so do you put your siren on and just go through traffic and everyone gets out of the way?
No, we don't have sirens on the bike. I actually play music through the sirens, so it's great for weddings, you know, playing wedding music, everything from Billy Idol's White Wedding to Frank Sinatra's Love and Marriage, you know.
What about the outfit? Let's talk about the outfit for a minute. Do chicks dig the outfit?
I don't know. I usually get men somewhat like yourself digging the outfit because they always wanted to wear it when they were a kid. Like myself, I used to watch chicks too. We're all fans.
Well, exactly. And I think that guy over there was digging it a bit too much. Steve, thank you for coming and talking to us, and we'll look out for you in the future.
You're welcome.
Sounds like the Canberra chapter of HOG is quite active. What sort of things do you do?
We've got a fairly active program. We would do 3 to 4 rides every month, and various rides of overnighters or just day rides. So you've got the Bay, Bateman's Bay, within an hour and a half ride. You've got Nowra, 2 hours ride. You've got inland Cowra, Young, Wagga, within 2 hours. So any one of those you could do, you could easily do in a day. Roads are good, conditions are good. Or overnighter. We've been as far as just overnighters, Mount Beauty, Bright, etc. So a lot of open areas, a lot of great roads. 4 roads in, 4 roads out.
Do you guys find Wagga's a place that you can meet and bring your friends to?
On a Saturday, we would have 20 to 30 members there on a regular Saturday. Once the first Saturday every month, we have a meet the members ride and a barbecue where we put on a sausage sandwich or bacon eggs or something like that. We do bring visitors to the shop as well, just to say, hey, this is our shop. And we've had a lot of good comments from other chapters.
Now the ride we had coming here, just go through the places you took us.
We went around Parliament House. It's always a good ride. They're pretty open there. They'll allow you to ride around the precinct. Then we went up Anzac Parade. That's where all the memorials are to all the war victims and Vietnam vets and things like that. And at the top of that was obviously the war memorial. And then straight up here to Mount Ainslie. So a lot of good things to see locally as well as surrounding areas. There's nothing better than sort of 10 or 20 Harleys coming through the town and everybody just stopping and looking. It's fantastic. So, and that's what we love. We're all like-minded people with our Harleys, and the passion that we have for our bikes.
We're at Fraser's Motorcycles at Concord in Sydney for the Brotherhood CMC Remembrance Ride. It's been going about 30 years now in one form or another. It gathers people from a cross-section of the biker community wanting to say goodbye to their mates, friends who've died on the road or in the normal course of life, but they want to say goodbye to them in a biker way.
Out here onto M4. We're getting off at James Roos.
Nothing beats going for a ride with your mates, especially if you're doing it to remember those who aren't around anymore. We headed off down the M4 to James Roos Drive. And James Roos Drive is one of those iconic roads in Sydney that takes you right out west. We headed out round Schofield, and as the sun started to set, we were in the Rudy Hill area, which is unfortunately where we lost Animal. Riding out the western suburbs of Sydney, it's certainly a challenge, but gee, it's fun. Then it was down the freeway and back to the clubhouse.
Mate, I'm not going on that ride again. I went over a bloody speed hump. What do you call it? Not speed hump? Roundabout. Because the sun's shining in your eyes. Oh, straight over. I thought I was going to go walkabout. Next time, I'm coming straight to here.
Finally, we arrived back at the clubhouse, but we were there for a very important reason.
Your turn coming next, you want to be remembered. Don't you? You don't want to be forgotten after a couple of days, do you? You want somebody to remember you?
Your chariot awaits and chariot of fire, hear the engine roar like thunderstorm.
We've been running this memorial service annually for many years, I can't remember how long. We do it because it's important to remember. So today we'll be remembering friends and family, the good times we had with them, and the impact that those people had on our lives.
My spirit is riding by
A lot of our members on the list. About a dozen, 14 of them. Their names are on the list.
I knew quite a few people on the list, and so it's nice to stop in the busyness of everything because life goes on and it's easy to forget. So I like this because it's a time to stop and remember people.
There was a lot of names on that board that brings back memories. Oh, you've got to remember, mate. You know, there's a lot of good times we had with a lot of the people on that list.
Slick, Craig, Andrew Rawls went for his last ride in Oberon, 21/1/2011. Pendo brought a Bible reading. Mark read the Lord's Prayer. And then Grant talked about facing life's realities.
When you come face to face with death, it shakes you around a bit. But when you think of things from eternity, from a spiritual perspective, if you have a relationship with God, then you have a sense of hope, even if it goes bad.
Finally, Pendo led us in the Biker's Prayer.
Thanks, God, for the roads and for the freedom to ride on them. Thanks for our great country and the places we see. Thanks for our mates who we ride with, who stick with us when we're in strife. Thanks that we're part of what you've got for bikers, like the runs and the mateship and the fun. Lord, we're sad for the bikers who have died, and we ask that you comfort their families. We want to live, Lord, so please help all road users to take greater care. In Jesus Christ's name, amen.
Enjoyed it and brought back some memories of some old friends that have passed on, and yeah, it's one of the best things that our Brotherhood do for the biking community.
Brought memories back of some people, and it's good to remember them in a special way, and because it is very easy to forget sometimes.
We all have ones that we know or have known, and you know, our families and also the friends that we need to keep them in our memories. Definitely.
It's a great time of reflection and remembrance, and I think in people have fairly busy lifestyles, so to be able to take time out and do that is fairly unique, and I think it's something we all need to do.
Did you start out on trikes, or did you ride solos?
I've been riding bikes in my early days until I had a bit of mishap and car accident and ended up in a wheelchair, and then I had a bit of breaks until it got all a bit itchy again, and started up on trikes again, what is nearly 25 years ago. And trikes brought me to Australia, and I came for a long holiday, and I'm still here. So best holiday of my life.
I understand recently you went on a trike ride up to Alice Springs.
Yeah, we did the Aussie Trike Fest 2011, but was a repeat from 2009. And I must say there's nothing like the great open road. We did nearly 7,000 Ks in about 2 weeks. And there's nothing like riding along the outback on between Coober Pedy and Alice, the open road. You eat the dust, you eat the flies, you get the smells. Nothing like riding this great country.
Did you have to take your own petrol supplies, or were there enough stations along the way?
No, it's no drama at all. There's at least every 250 to 300 Ks petrol stations. We don't even have to stop at all of them, because on a trike you can do up to 450, 500 Ks in one load of fuel. But even for bikes or people who don't carry as much fuel, it's no trouble at all having fuel, getting stops, caravan parks, everything. If I could have my way, I would still be on the road out there.
Did you get a good reaction from the local communities out there?
Yeah, they love bringing the trikes into town, and it's an excitement for them too. We organise a few rides and show and shines, and public displays. So they welcome us with open handed. So we will probably not be back for the next Aussie Trike Fest to Alice Springs. We got at the moment Tasmanians putting their hand up wanting to organising the next one, so we haven't got the dates yet, but in 2014, February 2014, we will be in Tasmania for the number 3 Aussie Trike Fest.
Having been an ex-London courier for a number of years, filtering is something very dear to my heart. The obvious benefits of filtering are widely known amongst riders, but not widely known amongst non-riders. And in fact, you could almost say that many people perceive riders who filter poorly.
When I came to Australia, it was not that frequent. But bit by bit, yes, it has taken on. People realize that motorcycles were much narrower than cars and could go where a car cannot go.
If we get a regulatory change that permits filtering, the benefits then become self-evident. We can alleviate congestion, there's an alleviation in pollution, and I'm not sure if you're aware, but in the next 4 years, the cost of congestion in Sydney is going to rise from $6 billion to $9 billion. That's a compelling argument for filtering.
And you're involved with the Black Dog Ride, and that's really drawing attention to the issue of depression, which is a big issue for Australian men, but in the bike community we're not really good at talking about our feelings, and that's really vital, I think, to deal with these sorts of issues.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is, and I don't want to get, let's look at, when I say deep and meaningful, we can, let's not avoid it, but the thing about it is that one of the things that I've recognised to being associated with the biking fraternity all my life, Marlon Brando is responsible for my obsession with motorcycles. When I remember seeing The Wild One, it was the greatest movie I've ever seen, still is to this day. But anyway, getting on with the question, the thing about it is that there are some issues. There are some. If you talk to a shrink, say for instance, and I've done therapy for anger management. Why wouldn't I? But and I've done therapy when I was dealing with anger management. I of course, what made me angry? How did I get the nickname angry? It's because it comes from depression. Because when you're depressed, you get angry, you get violent. And that was the way I was taught anyway by my biological father, was to be violent because I'm a little bloke. But having said that, I found what happened is over the years I've realised by association with the Viet vets, is that a lot of guys suffer the same things that I did. A lot of guys have, in the biking fraternity, have the same background. They were abused, or they were neglected, or whatever. And we all have similar problems. So I thought, well, hey, this may be a way of getting, blokes who desperately want to talk about issues and deal with issues. No one likes being like that. No one likes being, addicted to bad behaviour, or alcohol or drugs or whatever, without questioning, well, why? Why am I like this? So, yeah, I think over the years we've broken down some of the barriers. We're going to do, I know that me and Frasers, we're going to do great work over the next few years to bust open that stereotype of the stoic, silent, I've got to hold this in, I've got to deal with this myself. Well, brothers, no, you don't.
Now, being famous for his quirky sense of humour, there was always a risk that one day it would backfire. At Breakfast Talk in 2011, the long arm of the law finally caught up with Jonesy.
I noticed, with the accessories, you've got all the accessories that come with the bike. You've got the sirens, you've got the lights, but you've also got little accessories as well. A mini U.
That's it. This is my son Cooper. He rides with me, and he does everything.
Well, did you like John or Ponch out of Chips?
He's not 40.
Right.
Yeah. So he doesn't know what Chips is.
You got some cuffs.
I'm not afraid to use them.
Well, lucky there's no nefarious people around here.
I think you should arrest this man, Coop.
No. I can see this going horribly wrong. Geez, that's really tight. Okay, and so has anyone got the keys?
What keys?
Right. Well, what a great show, Greg.
Yeah, look, I really enjoyed the riding, mate. It was great fun.
I'm going to head out and do that right now. We'll catch you next week. Bye. Shiny side up.